Shalom, and welcome back to Bnei Noach Academy, Thoughts on Life. Please remember to hit the like button, to subscribe, and most importantly, to share this insight and inspiration with friends and family. So on a very recent class, which actually was a response to a question, and the class was titled, Does God Care How I Eat or Dress? Well, again, the dedicated viewer who actually prompted that class asked a further question, and I think it's a very intriguing one. And the question is, if I may ask, what about veganism? Is it acceptable according to the laws of kosher eating? Well, here it is. If you look in the Torah, on several occasions, God clearly instructs us how to eat meat, meaning, first of all, when, in what conditions one should eat meat, that it's a luxury at the end of the day, and then also how one is supposed to slaughter the animal in a humane way. You're not supposed to eat meat off a living animal while still alive. How a Jew in particular is not even allowed to eat the blood. You have to do a process in order to extract the blood before one can consume the meat, and so on and so forth. And then, of course, we know something we certainly cannot run away from, and that is the various sacrifices, the offerings in the Holy Temple. Now, why am I starting from this? Because, you see, let's look at veganism. Why would somebody want to be vegan? In other words, I'm not asking in a negative way. However, we have to go to the root of it. What is the reason that prompts somebody to want to be vegan? And that's where the difference is. You see, if they want to be vegan for health reasons, meaning they believe that being vegan is healthier for them, then that's fine. I don't see any problem with it. In other words, you choose not to eat meat, not because of idealistic or religious reasons, but rather you feel that just the meat, the content in the meat, whatever it is that's in the meat, is not good for you in particular. Okay, that shouldn't be a problem. A good example for that would be, we find throughout the Torah and in the book of Psalms that bread is the basic staple of nutrition. Now, we do know factually today that there are people who have a certain gluten intolerance and they don't eat bread. Does that mean that they're going against the Torah? No. The reason why they're not eating bread is not for religious purposes, is not for idealistic purposes. It's just it doesn't do well for them. They're allergic. It's just like if somebody's allergic to milk, whatever it is, lactose or anything. There is no issue with that. However, when people become, quote, vegetarian or vegan, and it is strictly because of their so-called compassion, they care about the animals, the poor living things that we are now going to cut down their lives and to consume them, and they feel that that's wrong. Now, that is a problem. That type of veganism or vegetarianism is a serious problem. You see, because you're more compassionate than God. You really? God who created these living things? He created them for a purpose, and he told us how to treat them, how to take care of them. But he also told us what their ultimate purpose is if a human being could utilize their, quote, life for a higher purpose. What I'm saying is, think about it this way. The whole world was created to serve the human being so the human being can serve God. When we need to do this in a measured manner, in a disciplined manner. We can't just utilize the world without allowing it to replenish itself and allowing the universe to reproduce its resources and so on. We cannot just go there and indiscriminately, without any calculation, destroy nature. That is not considered utilizing nature in a manner that God wanted us to. However, at the same time, we cannot refrain from taking advantage of what's there in nature to help us become better servants of God, to be healthier, to be stronger, to be more comfortable, so we can serve God better. So that is the same for meat. Those animals have a purpose. Their purpose is not just to graze around endlessly and then one day die. Those animals, especially the ones that God designated by his divine providence to end up on a human's plate. So that human could now consume it, and that animal life becomes part of the human being, and the human being, by serving God properly, will now have elevated not only himself or herself, but the parts of that animal that became part of his flesh and blood. And through that, not only the animal's meat, flesh, but also the plant which the animal fed off. And not only the plant, but the plant that grew from the inanimate, from the earth, that served a place, a resource for this plant to grow. And again, the plant fed the animal, and now the animal feeds the human. The whole world is being elevated to God. The whole world is serving a purpose. So again, let me just summarize. I believe very strongly that if veganism is due, one chooses to be vegan due to health, calculations, health decisions, that's fine. That's your choice. That you feel that this is healthier for you, that's fine. No one forces anyone to eat anything. The Torah doesn't say you must eat this or must eat that. However, once it becomes an idealistic decision, now we have a problem, because now you're basically, quote unquote, arguing with God, and you're trying to play as being more compassionate than the Almighty himself. And that is totally wrong. And like I said, at the end of it, you're also depriving the animal from really fulfilling its purpose for why it was put down on this earth. So that is certainly not a kindness to the animal.